A very good evening to one and all present here. Uh, Today's topic is gamification in education. Okay, so gamification in education means that educators apply game design elements to an educational settings. The goal is usually to make learning more engaging. Sometimes finding the resolve and perseverance to complete a difficult task can be tough for the students. So what should we do? We should use gamification. It motivates people by making the process more enjoyable. Uh, as a person engaged more with a course or project, their positive feelings towards the experience increases and they are more likely to continue engaging on their own. So I think gamification is very, very, very important nowadays in today's scenario. So let's understand how to gamify your classroom. What are the different ways in which we can gamify our classroom? So let's take this first method, and the first method is called as an observation method. So you can see this in a picture here. Students took picture of the shapes observed in the school playground and then incorporated the pictures in a PowerPoint presentations. And what is basically they have done? Let me give you an example onto this, how this can be done. Let's say this is a class, primary class, and the teacher designed a gamified lesson activity using some digital tools. The learning objective was to identify common types of 3D shapes. So this is an example. The teacher has given an assignment to the students to identify common types of 3D shapes such as cones and cylinder. So what the student, they have done it with the help of, okay. So the learning objective was to identify common types of 3D shapes such as cones and cylinders. And each student, so this is an assignment given to the students. The assignment was to identify common types of 3D shapes such as cones and cylinder. So what the student was provided, each student was provided, is it okay? With a tablet to take a few pictures of 3D objects they found in the school playground. So you can see again, this is what the students they are doing. This is two students. They're having a tablet in their hands and they are trying to click pictures with that. So the students then uploaded the photos. They took to the cloud. You know what is a cloud? On a like Gmail account. So there is a cloud where the students, they upload the photographs. After the students came back to the classroom, they used a computer to categorize the picture they took into different types by incorporating the photos into a simple PowerPoint presentation. So this is one method to gamify your classroom. And what is that? That is an observation method. Let's take another example. Let's take second point. The second point is difficult subjects were solved through group activity. Difficult subject was solved through group activity. So let's understand it with an example again. Another gamified activity that impressed the research team was in a senior secondary school. It was a mathematics class. It was a mathematics class, and students were told to form into group of 4 to 5 for a shopping role play game. The teacher gave each student group an envelope with the play money and asked the students to visit a fast food websites to plan some shopping for their lunch. So this is the objective. So please understand this thing. This is a calculation activity given to the students by the teacher. In which what the teacher they did was, the students were divided into groups and given an envelope with the play money and asked the students to visit fast food website to plan some shopping for their lunch. The only rule was, is it okay? The only rule was that they had to make sure that they have enough money to pay the food and drink. So they have to do, the students have to do the calculation with the money, right? They have to pay for their food and drink. And at the end of the class, the students have to share what they had bought, did the calculation in front of the whole class again, and how much they paid. So this is a calculation exercise. This is how we can use gamification to learn difficult subject like mathematics, and doing calculations becomes easy for the students. So this is another way to gamify your classroom. This is an example. Students checking up the price in fast food online shop for making the payments, right? So next is again using quizzes. Is it okay? Using quizzes. So this is next way of gamifying your classrooms. This is again, it can be not in like mathematics class, but it can be in any class using quizzes. So gamification can be used. Let's take this example. In a mathematics class of a primary 5 classrooms, the teacher made use of Quizlet, an online gamification platform, to make the classroom more fun and engaging. Each student was provided with a tablet in the beginning of the lesson. Just have a look at this. We can see in the picture, the students are given the tablets. The students are divided into the group and they are solving the quizzes. We can see from here, the students, they are given the tablets and they are divided into group and they are solving the quizzes. Each group had to answer multiple choice questions about the area and volume of certain shapes within a certain time period. An animated progress of each group was shown in a real time on the classroom screen. Next, each group competed to finish all the questions as quickly and accurately as possible. Each group competed to finish all the question as quickly and accurately as possible. Some students cheered and jumped up from the chair when the group reached the finishing line. After all the students have completed the questions, the teacher reviewed students' performance and they spent time explaining the questions that were mistaken by a large proportion of students. So this is how you can make use of the quizzes to gamify your classroom. This is another way. Next important technique is virtual experiment. Is it okay? The next important way is virtual experiments. This is again, you can see from the figure here. This is to find the volume of an object using a computer. What the teacher it is doing is giving a virtual experiment to find out the volume of an object using a computer. The teacher demonstrated an experimental approach to find out the volume of an object using the water displacement method. The teacher used a real-life container and a jar of water to estimate the volume of an object. Then each student had a chance to try out this approach virtually using their own tablet. So you can see this virtual experiment using computer can make the things for the student very easy. So this is another way to gamify your classroom. The teachers can teach the students this way to make the concept simpler. Next is reward-based learning. The girl and the boys recognize mastery and achievement with badges. Teachers can do the same by rewarding students' accomplishment and mastery with badges, which go beyond grades because they represent more than just academic achievements. Instead of class parties or treats, students earn points towards a class field trip by behaving and doing their assignments. So this is another way of having gamification into the classroom. So this is another way. So these are the different techniques that I have been showing till now to you. These are the different techniques that I have been showing you and how you can gamify your classroom. Next important technique is play digital games. Play digital games. You know, students, they love to play different games. I'm going to take the names of the games. That is Kahoot, Quizzes, Quizlet Live, GameKit, and the newest online trivia and games, Blockit. These free platforms allow teachers to create multiple choice questions that player answers on their own devices. So let me show you the example onto this. This is a software. This is a Kahoot. This is the website of Kahoot, and teachers can design their own quizzes and tell the students to play that, and they can submit the things online. The students, they can submit the things online. So this is one of the websites where the students and the teachers, this is a website, online learning platform, where the teachers can design the quizzes accordingly, and students, they can play it and enjoy this, right? So this is the next important technique, that is play digital games. And there are different websites you can see from here that is there nowadays that help the teachers to design their quizzes from time to time. So these are the different websites: Kahoot, Quizzy, Quizlet Live, Gimkit, Blockit. So the teachers can also choose from the thousands of quizzes already shared on these websites, or create content specific questions to use as pre-assessment quizzes or exit tickets. So this is another way of gamifying your classroom, that is play digital games. And there are many websites that is there. Next is also, let me take you to another website. You can see from here, there is a selection of educational tools with different function that you can use in your classroom or companies. These are different platforms. Edmodo. Edmodo is an educational platform. So these are different platforms, online platforms, that help the students, that helps the teachers to communicate with the students. So Edmodo is again an educational platform where teachers can communicate directly with the students to create exercise, task, or set rewards and badges. Edmodo is the closest thing to a social network. Edmodo is the closest thing to a social network for education. And we can gamify the students' experience with functions such as assigning badges when they meet the objectives we set for them. So you can select from these websites as well. There are so many you can see from the website: Super Teachers Tools, Eliver, My Class Game, Brainscape, Knower, Cerebrity. So these are the different websites. Peer Deck. So like these are the different platforms that helps the teachers to gamify to help the teachers to bring gamification in the lectures. Nowadays, other platforms like Zoom, they also help the students and the teachers to communicate while sitting at home. Google Meet is another way, WebEx. So there are different tools or the platforms that helps the interaction between the students and teachers by sitting at home. Even during the pandemic, we used to teach the students through another application that is called as Blackboard. It helps us to connect with the students and teachers and give the presentations and teach the students through online media. So these are the tools, different tools. So let's understand. Let me ask you a question. Any questions till now? No? Okay. So till now, we have understood what are the different ways of gamifying the classroom. Now, let us understand the advantages of using gamification in our lectures. What are the advantages? Let's understand those things. First is students feel like they have ownership over their learning. This is the first advantage. Next advantage is a more relaxed atmosphere in regards to failure, since learners can simplify trying again. So the student is not very scared when he loses it, because he knows he has many chances to play it again. This brings more fun in the classroom. The students, they feel more energetic. Next point is learning becomes visible through progress indicators. Next is students may uncover an intrinsic motivation for learning, internal motivation for learning. And this is more important, learning motivation. Next important advantage is students can explore different identities through different avatars or characters. This is next important advantage. Let's move to the another advantages. Students often are more comfortable in gaming environments, and so are more proactive and open to making mistakes. So this is another advantage. This is a big advantage for the students when we are using gamification in the classroom. They can do hit and trial while doing the exercise or while doing quizzes. Next important point is higher engagement and concentration level among the students. The students have to be more concentrated and they become more engaged when they're working through games, because their mental ability is being used. It is not the teacher who is giving a lecture. Instead, a student is using his skills to solve a problem This creates more engagement and concentration among the students. Last but not the least, it gives an opportunity to the students to think out of the box. So these are some of the advantages. In fact, if you are using gamification, the students use their own skills and they try to solve the problem by using their minds instead of one-way communication by the teachers. So this is more engaging way to engage the classroom. That is gamification, use of gamifications in our lectures. The last topic of today is what are the steps to a gamified classroom? So let's understand that. How do we go for gamification? First most important aspect is, that whole topics cannot be gamified. So what should be gamified is to be identified. So this is the first topic. Identify what is to be gamified. Gamification is all about motivation and engagement. So focus on areas in your classroom where those elements are lacking. If students are having trouble getting started on their some activities, for example, you can use badges or experience point to help give them an added boost. So what is the first most important aspect of using gamification in classes? To identify what should be gamified. So this is the first step. Second important step is know your students. Knowing your students. Inject your lesson planning with game mechanism your students already know. Next is, the next most important thing is set the rules. All games have rules and this is no different. Share with the class how your gamified approach works and clearly outline the paths to advancement and reward. So this is the next important aspect when you are having gamification in your class, that is set the rules. At the same time, keep it flexible. The next important point is keep it flexible. It's important to give students a choice in how they want to progress based on their interest and abilities. If you're awarding experience points, make sure there are multiple ways to earn them. So it has to be flexible. Don't be very rigid. Next important aspect is extend it beyond one subject. Think big. As you are mapping your curriculum, look for opportunities to add gamification that connects with other subjects and ties in learning from previous years. This is the next important aspect. Last point is track your own progress. This is the most important thing, that is to track your own performance. Is your gamified approach working? You won't know unless you measure your own progress towards your classroom goals. So this is also very important. So these are the 6 steps. Let me repeat this. Identify what should be gamified. Know your students. Set the rules. But at the same time, be flexible. Extend it beyond one subject and track your own progress so that gamification can bring the desired result in the classroom. So that's it from my side for today's session. Any questions, please ask.
Laura, você está me ouvindo? Tá? Beleza. Então, eu trabalhei no Colégio Marista, na verdade foi um estágio, onde tinha uma classe de alunos que tinham TDAH, transtorno de déficit de atenção e hiperatividade. E eles usavam muito esse método de gamification, para poder prender a atenção dos alunos, para eles não se desviarem, que era um método bem mais eficaz do que a própria escrita mesmo em quadros, assim. A própria gamificação foi bem mais eficaz. Mas ela não vai ter... Você consegue traduzir para ela, por favor? Pode falar.
Yes.
Thank you, Laura, for the question. So, like what I can understand from your question is like, is gamification important? Yes, gamification is definitely important, but not for all the topics. It is not like that we have to gamify everything, and we can gamify everything. It is not even that possible. Look, there are so many things that cannot be gamified. But still, like just say, like mathematics problems, there are certain mathematical problems. And the students, what I have seen is maximum, the students, they fear mathematics. So to make them learn those subjects or those topics, some topics through gamification, help them to understand a complicated process in an easier manner. So it is not because my topic is gamification. So I was talking only about gamification. But otherwise, yes, classroom teaching is very important. Other way of teaching is also very important. Let me give you an example. We have one of the best institutes in India, like IIMs, that gives management education to the students, and they teach most of the times through case studies. So if I tell you, the case studies is also one of the important way of teaching students. Gamification is another way of teaching students. Group discussions is another way of teaching students. Even like playing not the virtual games, but even playing in the class is also very important. So there are different techniques through which we can teach the students, but because today's topic is gamification, so I was just emphasizing on to that. Am I okay?
Daniel said on the chat the problem he was talking about is AD8D. AD8D. Let me see.
She can write that in English if she wants.
Attention deficit.
Huh?
Hyperactivity disorder. AD.
What is that?
The name of the problem he was talking about.
This is a disorder
Yeah.
in which the students, they do not get the attention while doing the exercise.
So they used gamification to help these kids.
Okay.
So that he was talking about it.
Oh, he gave an example.
Yeah.
Oh, great, good.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. Yeah, good. What else?
Just it.
Fine. Thank you. Obrigado. This is the last thing I can say, right?
Okay.